gonna be making some pumpkin cheesecake. This cheesecake is perfect for the fall season. So I'm gonna start with 32 ounces cream cheese, a can of pure pumpkin puree, cup and a half of granulated sugar, 4 eggs, 1/4 a cup of sour cream, teaspoon of vanilla, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of pumpkin pie seasoning, a 1/4 a cup of brown sugar, a package of Biscoff cookies, and 6 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna start out with the crust, so let's get started preparing that pan and then getting these cookies into a fine crumb. This is all that goes into the crust. A package of Biscoff cookies, a 1/4 a cup of brown sugar, and 6 tablespoons butter that I'm going to melt. So to start, I'm going to grind those cookies up into a fine sand. So I'm using a handheld food processor. And I'm going to open these cookies. I like to break them, make it a little easier. This crust is so much better than a graham cracker crust. It just goes so well with that spiced pumpkin flavor. Now that this is a fine crumb, I'm going to add the brown sugar. Then I'm going to use this container and I'm going to melt this butter in the microwave with just 30 seconds. Cook time. Get all that butter. Okay, going in the microwave. Butter is melted, add that to the mixture, and then I'm going to grind it up again until a wet sand. This is ready, so now I'm gonna prepare the pan. Start with a spring form pan. I have been loving this pan where the bottom actually comes out. Feels a lot easier to remove the cheesecake. It's a Fat Daddy-O pan. Gonna start with a very healthy amount of non-stick spray. You do not want this cheesecake sticky. Then I'm going to line it with a sheet of parchment paper. It will not fit perfect, but that is okay. It's gonna make it a lot easier to get this cheesecake out in the end. Then I am going to wrap the bottom of this pan in foil because we don't want any water leaking through from the water bath. So just kind of bring it up along the edge because you have to cook a cheesecake in a water bath. That is absolutely necessary. We don't want a soggy crust with all the water. So this is my cheesecake pan ready to go. So again, sprayed, parchment paper lined, tinfoil wrapped. Now I'm going to pour my prepared crust into the pan. Make sure to get all of it out. Then I'm going to move it around so it's an even layer and press it down so that it will all become one. Ta-da! Now this crust is ready to go. If you want, and I normally do, but it's totally up to you. If you want a more solid crust, throw it in the oven at 350 for 10 minutes. But that step is totally optional. You can just pour your cheesecake right into this and it will cook with the cheesecake. But if you want that really stable crust, of course, cook it for 10 minutes before. Okay, we're gonna start with that 32 ounces and it needs to be soft whipped cream cheese. This is where people make a big mistake. Has to be soft. If it's not soft, you're gonna end up with a clumpy cheesecake. We're gonna whip this up to soften it up even more before adding any ingredients. This is just cream cheese. Again, whip it up, make it soft. That is a very important step. Then we're gonna mix in this pumpkin puree and whip it until smooth. Pumpkin is added, again, whip until smooth. You have to add some of these wet ingredients and really mix it good before the eggs and the sugar. If you add the eggs and the sugar, you're gonna start creating air bubbles that stay in the cheesecake that make like a very gritty cheesecake. So now we're gonna add the sour cream, the vanilla, and the seasoning, spices. Whip it again until smooth, and then we'll get that sugar and egg in. All is added besides the sugar and the eggs, and now we're just gonna whisk until combined. We do not want to over whip these ingredients, and then it will be ready to be poured into our prepared crust and put in a water bath and place in the oven. Okay, all the ingredients are in. Look at this silky smooth mixture to create the perfect cheesecake. We're going to pour it into our prepared crust. And get it ready for the oven. Whenever baking a cheesecake, you need a water bath. Just about half an inch of water is all you need in a slightly larger pan. And you place that cheesecake pan right in the center, and that will create steam and help you not have a cracky cheesecake. Okay, the pumpkin cheesecake is out of the oven. One really big trick is once the cheesecake is done, you turn off the oven, you open the door, and you let it sit in there for a full hour as the oven cools down, and then take it out of the oven so it's not shocked by room temperature. Then I set it out for another 30 minutes at room temperature, and it's gonna go into the fridge for at least 8 hours. You need it to solidify and cool before, no one wants a warm cheesecake. So we're gonna throw it in the fridge, and we're gonna come back tomorrow. This is the make ahead recipe, and slice it open. Now I'm gonna scoop this cinnamon whipped cream into a piping bag and pipe around the edges of my cheesecake for extra indulgence, but also to kind of cover up the edges that the parchment paper wrinkled as it baked. Always make sure to hold the top of that piping bag so it doesn't come out on top. And I'm just gonna pipe around the edges. Now this pumpkin cheesecake is ready to serve, but first I'm gonna top it with a little drizzle of homemade caramel sauce. This is my homemade butter caramel sauce. It is absolutely divine. And I'm going to drizzle the entire cheesecake in this delicious caramel sauce. It complements all the other flavors so well. You can honestly never have enough. So good. Now let's slice it up and serve it. This pumpkin cheesecake is ready to serve. Honestly, better than any pumpkin pie you will ever have. This cheesecake is absolutely incredible and should have a spot on your holiday table this year. So good. It's time to dig in.